We are not disappearing. We are changing. We are thriving. We are living longer than ever.
Well, Canadian Down Syndrome Week runs from October 19th to the 25th. Now, here's some context. Back in 1950, only 1% of adults with Down syndrome lived past the age of 40. However, today, more than 30% of Canadians with Down syndrome are over 40. And although that's a remarkable milestone, it really also highlights an urgent gap in our healthcare systems and training. So for more now on how we can support this growing community, we're joined this morning by Executive Director of the Canadian Down Syndrome Society, Laura Lachance. Laura, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Really important conversation here because I realize this is an awareness campaign. I think it's pretty obvious a lot of Canadians, and it seems maybe even the medical community, not so aware of the reality of the number of Canadian adults living with Down syndrome.
Right, and it's really a bit of a call to action and an awakening, because it used to be thought that Down syndrome was a pediatric issue, a childhood issue, because people didn't live that long. So now we have a large volume of people approaching middle age and elderly people where the practicing healthcare professional isn't as prepared as they could be because it wasn't part of their undergrad training.
So what are some of the gaps, some of the things that perhaps are coming up now more regularly because more people living with Down syndrome are living longer?
The biggest thing that's coming up is the development of Alzheimer's dementia. So many people in the population develop Alzheimer's in their later years, but in Down syndrome, we're seeing that sometimes in their 40s and in their 50s.
That is significant, of course, because getting people the right treatment, the right care, the right way is obviously essential here. So this campaign here, like you say, it's a call to action here. What is the goal of this? Is this to get more care, or is this to get more people aware of care so governments and regulators can enact more? What's the overall strategy and
Sure.
goal?
Well, I think everybody has care. We're blessed with a great system in Canada. But the challenge is that in our recent survey, many caregivers report that they're educating their healthcare professionals rather than their healthcare professionals speaking with confidence about adults with Down syndrome. So it's part awareness, and it's part to help us fund the development of a national accredited program for postgrad healthcare professionals. And we hope to roll that out early next year.
So with that in mind, do you have sort of a rough outline or a sketch of what that program would look like to sort of train these people up to speed, to bring them up to take care of people with Down syndrome as adults?
Sure. And I think it's just awareness that many of the typical aging issues happen sooner. So not to look at the chronological age, but to look at what's happening in terms of their lifestyle and their ability.
Yeah. Laura, you talked about caregivers in one of your previous answers here. This must pose a remarkable challenge as well for not only people, living with Down syndrome as they get older, but also the caregivers as well, because I'm sure in many cases they're advocating for their loved ones here as well. What is that like as far as you understand in terms of that dynamic and relationship of caregiver, client, doctor, patient, etc.?
It becomes very difficult because often someone with Down syndrome has lived at home with their aging parent. The aging parent passes away or becomes unable to look after the individual, and it switches to a caregiver, often a sibling, sometimes a relative, and sometimes a hired caregiver. And they haven't prepared themselves perhaps as well as they could. So they're faced with a lot of issues that they didn't realize. Yeah,
I suppose so. Okay, well, WeDeserveCare.ca is the website. I checked it out this morning. I've watched that promo or the campaign ad. It's definitely enlightening as well. Laura Lachance, thanks for joining us this morning. Good to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.